I haven't talked much about the Ukraine and Russian war in a long time, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update. There's, let me just start. There's not much reason to talk about Ukraine daily. Nothing's really happening in Ukraine on a daily, you know, that of any significance. Like, there's nothing of significance happening daily in Ukraine. There's just no reason to talk about it. There's plenty of other, you know, BS YouTubers out there that make literally daily content about it. And there's really no need to talk about it. They're wrong, I'm right. I mean, it's pretty much how that goes. They live in fantasy land, you know? And so we don't deal with fantasy here. And that's why we're not popular per se. That's why, you know, it just is what it is. When you have real knowledge and everyone else is, you know, BSing you. I mean, honestly, sometimes you think it's the Vladimir Freak Show, right? That's how bad it is. Um, I mean, I can see it now, right? Silicone curtain in a hotel room, wakes up with oil all over his body. And in the shadows, Vladimir Putin with an evil smile on his face, you know, and you got fake news Danis and Ukraine Matters and Ukraine Anna all at the party. And they all wake up a little sore, a little bent over, right? They got the little Vladimir Putin shaft shoved up them, right? Like, it's become like a freak show, really. I mean, these guys literally make content every day in fact, or in light of the fact that there's really nothing to make content on. I mean, really, there's no significant. I mean, it's war, and at least when it comes to this particular conflict, every day you wake up, a soldier dies, multiple soldiers die. Every day you wake up, possibly a citizen dies. Right? It's not America fighting here where you could go days and days on end and not have a single United States soldier die. Like, there's nothing of any significance here. So what could you possibly talk about that's any different? Because we're just going to get into this right now, okay? Ukraine has been losing ground to Russia now for, I think we're at month 17 or month 18. I mean, this starts back all the way back to last year, uh, around June 2023. So that was the month my father passed away, right? So Ukraine's been losing ground since then. That's the day they were losing ground, one way or another, right? You'd wake up one day, Ukraine or Russia maybe takes a football field and Ukraine takes 2 football fields back, and then Russia would counterattack and take 3 football fields back, and Ukraine would only take 2. And it went back and forth until the gains of Russia got larger and larger and larger, and it's where we are today. And of course, since then you've had, you know, well, the year of this starting, that winter you had Bakhmut fall, and then the second winter, which is this winter, you had Advika fall. And then who knows what's going to happen. We're getting ready to go into another winter. But I bet you're going to see, um, I bet you're going to see some other major cities fall. But I think the other big thing that's probably going to happen is, and it's already starting, is you're going to see Kursk fall. You know, we've been saying this. I don't want to say it like too crazy, but we've been saying here on my YouTube channel, and I've deleted most of my content because I was trying to go a new direction. But sometimes you just can't avoid what your destiny is, so to speak. So I thought I would write. I just thought I'd do this video a bit. We've been saying since the Kursk offensive, like, on one hand, yeah, you can't deny it was successful, but on the sort of strategic end, it was a complete failure, right? It did not induce what they wanted to happen. What they really wanted to happen is they wanted Russia to panic in the early moments of frustration. They wanted Russia to panic, pull troops out of the Eastern Front, which would weaken their Eastern Front and possibly open up for a counterattack on the Eastern Front to happen. But it never happened. Or if it did happen, Russia never took enough troops out for it to make any difference. Okay? Remember, top to bottom, from north to south, okay, there's roughly a 700-mile front line. And in virtually every sector of that front line, Russia roughly has at least 100,000 troops sitting in it. Ukraine, nowhere near those numbers. They're not matching those numbers any area on the front line. Now, a year ago, 2 years ago, when this war started, 3 years ago, I think we're at 3 years almost, right? That wasn't the case, right? Smaller land, concentrated troops, and Ukraine had the necessary margins to defend. But as time has went on, and they've lost, 100,000 soldiers, or however many soldiers they've lost, that's become less the case. So consequently, where we're at today, down on the Eastern Front, Ukraine is literally losing ground to Russia every single day. Every single day. Okay? And it's just the way it goes. If not daily, it's like weekly, right? And those losses keep getting more and more significant. Now, was it in August, Ukraine got some F-16s. They lost one, right? And then it was rumored that they got their first air-to-air kill or whatever the other day, but I mean, there's no footage of it. I don't think it happened. There's really just no evidence of it. I don't understand why we openly just say these things and not really produce any evidence of it. That being said, we do the math and with the understanding on this, the calculus, if you will, that at some point when they start letting the F-16 go hunting or fishing, whichever analogy you want to use, the assumption is that the F-16 will take Russian aircraft out of the sky, potentially if you're in the F-16's range, because we know Russia's Air Force pretty much sucks. Now, I'm not saying the F-16 is going to shoot a felon out of the sky, but who cares? Those are extreme examples, right? I mean, they're not even reality. Russia's not using the felon. The Russian felon is less than 10 in the entire world, with Russia maybe having 6 or 7 or 8 of them, and it was literally just announced again, last week, I think it was, that they have stopped production on the felon again, or the Fallon, however you want to say. But the point is, it doesn't even matter anymore, because like the F-22, only except the F-22 is vastly superior, we are at a place today where Russia never was able to successfully produce that aircraft, and now you're 20 years later in the ball game. New generational technologies come online, and it's made it irrelevant. The technology irrelevant. Now the F-22, who was always a much better anything and everything anyway, still very irrelevant, but it wasn't built with the backwards compatibility or the forward compatibility. That's what's hurting it. But in simulated battles in America, the F-22 has beat the F-35, which isn't a surprise. I mean, the F-35 isn't a fighter jet, and the F-22 is a fighter jet. Like, it's a legitimate fighter jet. Like, literally, its only goal in life was to defeat other jets. People always say fighter jet when they say the F-35, but incorrect. It is classified as a fighter bomber. It's a little bit of everything. It's like a freak, right? It's a little freak, man. It's a freak show. But its specialty is like the F-15. Its specialty lies in hitting ground targets. All that sensory array and shit like that is to blow shit up on the ground. It's not because it's going to do super G-force maneuverability and dance around you like the F-22 does. That's not what it's going to do. And on equal footing, that's why the F-22 wins these quote-unquote dogfights or whatever, right? Because when it's has the same capability as the F-35 minus the modern sensory technology, with the same long-range missiles, it's simply just not able to win. So what I'm saying is, you can go to extremes and say, yeah, but what about what about the Felon versus the F? Well, who cares? That's not a reality, right? Because the Felon isn't ever going to fly, just like it's not flying right now, because Russia only basically has none of them. You're more likely to see a flanker fight go against the F-16 than you are a Felon, and even in that case, the flanker's going to lose. So why does it matter? There's a lot of extremes. If the F-35 or F-35, if the F-16, excuse me, could ever do significant damage to Russia's military, like, for example, they get up to like 20 or 30 F-16s more quicker than, say, later, right? Possibly you could have a situation where the F-16 could degrade Russian ground forces at that point. But right now, they're just playing defense, right? It's just, they're being very careful. They're trying not to lose what they have and just play defense. It's not a bad idea, considering that it's kind of like when you get in your car and drive, right? Every mile you drive, in their case, every mile they fly, they just keep getting more and more better. Hang on for a second. Hello? Hello? Yeah, no, I don't. You're outside? Okay, I'm just right here in the parking lot. I'll come over and grab you. All right. Yep. Bye. All right, guys. I gotta pick up a client, so we'll cut this short.